Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Charu Malhotra, Associate Professor of E-Governance and ICT, Information Communication Technologies from Indian Institute of Public Administration, IIPA, New Delhi. Today I am going to talk about application software, system software and basics of these concepts as well as examples which are related to ICT for libraries. The objectives of this particular module is to impart basic knowledge and understanding to all of you in number 1, fundamental definition of software, number 2, the various kinds of software which include system software, application software and also the related important subcategories for each. We would also talk about relevant software related issues such as software bugs, open source software and software licensing. Okay dear students, so what do you think is software? Before we proceed to understand, let's first define software. Software is a collection of interrelated computer programs, whereas these computer programs, each of them is again a collection of interrelated computer instructions. Such computer instructions are written either in a computer language or again in a specific computer programming package. In other words, we can say software is the written text which will help computer to operate. It can be stored electronically, which is just opposite to the storage devices and display devices which are tangible part of the computer system. Together, the combination of hardware and software constitutes a computer system platform. Why learn about software? Software is an indispensable part of any computer system or setup. More specifically, the system software, a kind of software, determines the format and flow of input, calculations, and the output being produced by the computer system. Similarly, another category of software called as application software augments the efficiency of the user, specifically in the work environment. Therefore, it is very relevant for the user to be aware of the various nuances and options of the application software available to him or her. This would help in automation of domain of his or her work. Proper understanding and application of software also enhances individual productivity. Several repetitive and mundane chores such as income tax preparation, household budget, etc. can be easily handled by learning about equivalent software required for carrying out such routine activities in an individual's life. Learning about latest software, more specifically the utility programs, can also help us to protect our respective hardware, equipment and computers from unauthorized virus or cyber attacks. An overview of software. Software, also referred to as software package or just a package, is a collection or sequence of interrelated instructions for the computer which are written by a programmer in a computer language or computer package as per the user needs and instructions. Software determines how a machine functions or how a specific domain under consideration is automated. Software is of two types: system software and application software. Categories of software. As indicated, we have two kinds of software: system software and application software. System software includes several categories such as an assembler, a debugger, compilers, file management tools, operating systems, and utilities. Then various kinds of application software could be word processing software, graphics software, spreadsheet software, communication software, databases software, and software for games. Now, let us try to understand what is system software. Dear students, system software include the operating systems and all the utilities that enable the hardware such as computer and its related peripherals and its connections to function properly. The role of a system software is to coordinate the activities and functions of hardware and its other application or domain related programs. System software manages the operations of computer hardware. It supports application program, problem-solving capabilities. It provides a computing environment to a user to operate the machine and automate his or her domain or the application under consideration. Types of system software. First, operating systems. It is the most important type of system software, also popularly referred by its abbreviation OS. OS represents the set of programs that control the hardware and acts as an interface between hardware and application programs. Second, utility programs. They help to analyze, configure, optimize, and maintain the computer systems. Third, middleware. Middleware provides extra services to software applications beyond those available from the operating systems, such as establishing connectivity, data transfer between two heterogeneous operating platforms, and so on. It can be also described as software glue. Operating systems. The operating system, prominent examples being ZOS, Microsoft Windows, Mac operating system, and Linux, allows the parts of a computer to work together by performing tasks such as transferring data between memory and disks or rendering output onto a display device. It also provides a platform to run high-level system software and application software. Kernel. It is an important part of operating system that ties all the components of the OS together and regulates other programs. Various combinations of operating systems decide the number and types of computers and users. For example, single user environment. It is a single computer with a single user provided by MS-DOS. Centralized computing. Single computer with multiple users on dumb terminals. For example, Unix. LAN and WAN. Multiple computers with multiple users. For example, Novel NetWare and Windows NT. Now, let us move on to understand what are the various functionalities of the operating system. Operating system number 1 helps us in memory management. That means the operating system manages the primary memory of the system. It allocates the memory on the request of a process which is being run at that time. It also keeps a check that at a particular time, how many bytes of memory are in use and which process is it using. It also keeps track of what part of memory is free. The second functionality of the operating system is processor management. Operating system also takes care of the processor. It allocates the processor to a user, and in case of multi-user systems, that is where there are several users, it allocates the processor time to different users as and when needed and in such a way that every user has a minimum waiting time. The third functionality of an operating system is the device management. Operating system keeps track of all the devices, that is peripherals, attached to the computer such as input-output devices, etc. whenever needed. It also allocates the devices in such a way that all these devices can be efficiently used. Also, it initiates the input-output operations and allocates them along with other devices to the user. The fourth functionality of an operating system is the file management. Writing and retrieving the information on or from the secondary storage device is the function of an operating system. It follows a complete methodology for maintaining these files so that different sets of information do not get mixed up exactly at the same set of information must be supplied whenever is required by whatever user. Some popular operating systems. DOS, Disk Operating System. As indicated, it is a single user system. Also, it is non-graphical interface based operating system. It was developed by IBM and Windows. Though it's not as sophisticated as modern operating systems, but is very stable. Number 2, Linux. This operating system is very popular open source operating systems which allow users and developers to access the source code for free. It has been developed on a kernel based on Unix. It is known as one of the most secure platforms. Yet, Linux is often viewed as more complex operating system than others. It provides exceptional performance even on a smaller hard disk. Mac operating system. It is Apple's trademark operating system software for their line of Macintosh computers. The system was based in part on Unix and requires a low level of maintenance with fewer occurrences of computer worms, viruses and spyware. Windows. The Microsoft Windows operating system is the most popular choice and is highly compatible, feature-rich and has much larger selection of software applications working on it. Unlike the Linux kernel, Windows is a proprietary software and tends to be more expensive than others. The various kinds of operating systems have various examples in each of them. Let us first understand about workgroup operating system. The examples which are very common in workgroup operating system are Windows Server, Unix, NetWare, Red Hat Linux, Mac operating system server. Moving on to an enterprise level operating system which would manage the entire organization. These are Z operating system, MPEIX, HPUX and Linux. Last but not the least, there are operating systems for small computers, embedded computers and special purpose devices. These examples are Palm operating system, Windows Embedded, Windows Mobile and so on. Utility programs. Utility programs help to perform maintenance or correct problems with a computer system. Utilities are often rather technical and targeted at people with an advanced level of computer knowledge, in contrast to application software which allows only users to do things like creating text documents, playing video games, listening to music or viewing websites. There are several examples of utility programs which can be listed as AVG Antivirus, CCleaner, Spyboot Search and Destroyer, KLite Code, WordPress, AdAware Press Anniversary, Tressline, Treeline, Revo Installer and Super Anti-Spyware. Now, when we've understood what are operating systems and utility programs, let us try to understand the various common types of utility programs. The first most important utility program which all of us have been using are antivirus utilities. Antivirus utilities, as all of you know, they scan the computer for viruses. Then we have archivers. Archivers output a stream or a single file when provided with a directory or a set of files. Archive utilities, unlike archive suites, usually do not include compression or encryption capabilities. Some archive utilities may even have a separate unarchive utility for the reverse operation. Then, under utility programs, we have backup software. Backup software, as the name indicates, can make multiple copies of the information stored on a disk and restore either the entire disk in case of a disk failure or selected number of files, for example, in an event of accidental deletion. We have clipboard managers. Clipboard managers expand the clipboard functionality of an operating system. Then there are cryptographic utilities which will help us to encrypt and then decrypt streams and files. Similarly, we have utility programs for data compression. Data compression utilities output a shorter stream or a smaller file when provided with such a stream of file. Middleware. Middleware software allows different systems to communicate and exchange data across various operating platforms or products of different vendors. Middleware can also be used as an interface between the internet and older legacy systems. Middleware makes it easier for software developers to perform communication and input-output so that they may focus on the specific purpose of their application. Let us understand more about middleware. Software that functions as a conversion or translation layer between two different vendors is called as a middleware. It is also a consolidator and integrator. Custom programmed middleware solutions have been developed for decades to enable one application to communicate with another that either runs on a different platform or comes from a different vendor or both. Today, there is a diverse group of products that offer packaged middleware solutions. An application software. An application software includes programs that do real work for users. In most cases, application software resides on the computer's hard disk. It can also be stored on CDs, DVDs, and flash or keychain storage devices. For example, word processors, spreadsheets, and database management systems fall under the category of application software. Types of application software. Proprietary software. Proprietary software or closed source software is computer software that is licensed under exclusive legal rights of the copyright holder with the intent that the license is given the right to use the software only under certain conditions and restricted from other uses such as modification, sharing, studying, redistribution, or reverse engineering. Usually, the source code of proprietary software is not made available. One-of-a-kind program for a specific application, usually developed and owned by a single company, is called as a proprietary software. Commercial off-the-shelf software, also abbreviated as COTS. COTS is pre-built software, usually from a third-party vendor. COTS can be purchased, leased, or even licensed to the general public. It provides some of the following advantages. Number 1, applications are provided at a reduced cost. Number 2, the application is more reliable when compared to custom-built software because its reliability is proven through the use by other organizations. Number 3, COTS is more maintainable because the system's documentation is provided with the application. Number 4, the application is higher quality because competition improves the product quality. Number 5, cost is of higher complexity because specialists within the industry have developed this software. Number 6, the marketplace, not industry, drives the development of an application. Number 7, the delivery schedule is reduced because the basic scheduling of operations is done. The difference between proprietary and off-the-shelf software. Proprietary software has several advantages and disadvantages. First advantage, you can get exactly what you need in terms of features, reports, and so on. But the disadvantage is it can take a long time and significant resources to develop its required features. The second advantage is being involved in the development offers it controls over the results. The disadvantage is that in-house system development staff may become hard-pressed to provide the required level of ongoing support and maintenance because of pressure to move on to other new projects. The third advantage of proprietary software is that you can modify features that you need to counteract an initiative by competitors or to meet new suppliers or customer demands. A merger with or acquisition of another firm also requires software changes to meet new business needs. The disadvantage is there is more risk concerning the features and performance of the software that has yet to be developed. The advantages and disadvantages of off-the-shelf software. The advantages are, number 1, the initial cost is lower because the software firm can spread the development cost over many customers. The second advantage is that the software is likely to meet the basic needs. You can analyze existing features and the performance of the package. Number 3, the advantage is that package is likely to be of high quality because many customer firms have already tested the software and helped identify its bugs. The disadvantages of off-the-shelf software are, number 1, an organization might have to pay for features that are not required and never used. Number 2, the software might lack important features, thus requiring future modifications or customization. This can be very expensive because users must adopt future releases of the software as well. The third disadvantage of off-the-shelf is that the software might not match current work processes and data standards. Personal application software. Such category of software serves the needs of an individual user. It includes personal productivity software and enables users to improve their personal effectiveness. Examples of personal application software. The type of software can be word processing, which can help to create, edit and print text documents. For example, Word or WordPerfect. And vendors are Microsoft and Corel. The second type of personal application software is spreadsheet, which provides a wide range of built-in functions for statistical, financial, logical, databases, graphics, and date and time calculations. For example, Microsoft Excel, Lotus 123. The vendors are obviously Microsoft and Lotus and IBM. The third category of personal application software is database, which can help to store, manipulate, and retrieve data. Examples are Access, Approach, DBase. And the vendors are Microsoft, Lotus and IBM, and Borland. The fourth category of personal application software is online information services, which will help to obtain a broad range of information from commercial services, such as America Online and MSN. And the vendors are Microsoft and America Online. The fourth type of personal application software is graphics, which help to develop graphs, illustrations, and drawings. Examples are Illustrator and Freehand, and the vendors are Adobe and Micromedia. Another category is project management. Such software helps to plan, schedule, allocate, and control people and resources such as money, time, and technology needed to complete a project according to schedule. For example, project for Windows, on target, project schedule, and timeline. The corresponding vendors are Microsoft, Symantec, Seagator, and Symantec again. The next category is financial management, which provide income and expense tracking and reporting to monitor and plan budgeting. And some programs have investment portfolio management features as well. For example, Managing Your Money and Quicken, developed by vendors Mecca Software and Intuit respectively. The other category is desktop publishing, also known as DTP, which help to use the personal computers and high-resolution printers to create high-quality printed output, including text and graphics, various styles of pages, arts and text files from other programs, which can also be integrated into these published pages. Examples are Quark Express Publisher, PageMaker, Ventura Publisher, and the vendors are Quark, Microsoft, Adobe, and Coral respectively. The last category is creativity. Creativity will help to generate innovative and creative ideas and problem solutions using this category of software. The software does not propose solutions but provides a framework conducive to creative thought. The software takes users through a routine, first naming a problem, then organizing ideas and wishes, and then offering new information to suggest different ideas or solutions. The examples are Organizer and Notes, and the vendors are Macromedia and Lotus. Workgroup application software. It supports teamwork whether people are in the same location or dispersed across the world. Another category is groupware. Groupware software helps groups of people to work together more efficiently and effectively. Enterprise application software. This category of software benefits an entire organization. For example, enterprise resource planning software, also called as ERP software. It is a set of integrated programs that manage a company's vital business operations for an entire multi-site or global organization. The various components of an ERP software can be accounts receivable, accounts payable, airline industry operations, automatic teller systems, cash flow analysis, credit and charge card administration, manufacturing control, distribution control, general ledger, stock and bond management, savings and time deposits, inventory control, sales ordering, order entry, payroll, human resource management, check processing, tax planning and preparation, receiving, restaurant management, retail operations, invoicing, shipping, and fixed asset accounting. Now let us understand various software issues and trends. Because software is such an important part of today's computer systems, software issues too have received increased attention. Major software issues and trends could be software bugs, copyright issues, software licensing, open source software, shareware and public domain software, multi-organizational software development, software upgrades, and global software support. All of you would be aware of repercussions of software bugs. What are software bugs? Software bug defects indicated in a computer program that keep a program from performing to its best or as it was designed to perform. The tips for reducing impact of software bugs is: number one, register all software that so that you can receive bug alerts, fixes and patches whenever they happen. Number 2, we should always check the manual or README files for workarounds. Number 3, we must keep accessing support area of the manufacturer's website for the new patches or delivery of improvements. Last but not the least, we should always install the latest software updates to avoid software bugs. Discussing the issue of copyrights and licenses. Most software products are protected by law using copyright or licensing provisions. In some cases, you are given unlimited use of software on one or more computers. In other cases, you pay for your usage. If you use the software more, you pay more. Some software now require that you register or activate it online before it can be fully used. Open source software. Open source software, a software which is freely available to anyone in a form that it can be easily modified. Some widely used open source software packages include Linux operating system, Apache and Perl. Open source software is often more reliable and secure than a commercial software. Open source systems can contain hidden costs, particularly for user support or solving problems with the software. Examples of open source software. An open source operating system example is Linux. An open source application software example is OpenOffice. An open source database software is MySQL. An open source internet browser is Firefox. An open source internet messaging is Jabber. Shareware, freeware and public domain software. Shareware and freeware software are inexpensive or free, but the source code of these software cannot be modified. Public domain software are also shareware and freeware, but are available universally in the public domain. App is a word which has become so commonplace, but we fail to understand its background and the utility. A mobile app is a computer program designed to specifically run on a mobile device such as our smartphones and tab computers. The word app is actually a shortening of the term from application software. It has become so popular that in 2010 year, it was listed as the word of the year by American Dialect Society. Mobile apps were originally offered for general productivity and for information retrieval, including emails, calendars, contacts, stock market, and weather information. Now, almost all the smartphones are sold with several apps such as pre-installed software, which can be a web browser, an email client, a calendar, a mapping program, and so on. App stores. Apps that are not pre-installed are usually available through distribution platforms called as app stores. Some popular app stores are Apple App Store, Google Play, Windows Phone Store, and BlackBerry App World. So dear friends, when we are almost at the end of this module, let us do a hurried recap. What all we understood during this session was A. What is a computer program? We understood computer programs are nothing but sequence of instructions for the computer. Number 2, we went into the details of what is a system software. We understood system software coordinates the activities of hardware and application software. Coming to the third point, what is application software? It helps us, that is the users, to solve particular problems. We can have ready-made software which are off the shelf, or we can have COTS which are customized software. Then we understood what are operating systems. Operating systems are set of computer programs that control the computer hardware and act as an interface with the application program. We also understood what is GUI, Graphical User Interface. It's a user interface that uses icons and menus displayed on the screen to send commands to the computer system. We also understood about the concept of time sharing. Time sharing allows more than one person to use a computer system at the same time. We moved on to understand what is a proprietary software. It's one of a kind software for a specific application, usually developed and owned by a single vendor or company. We understood what is off-the-shelf software. Existing software programs that are purchased. We moved on to understand ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Software. These software manage a company's vital business operations for the entire multi-site global organization. We moved on to also understand programming languages which allow humans to communicate instructions to be executed by a computer in a simple different format. Most software products are protected by law using copyright or licensing provisions. We also unraveled the concept of open source software, which means a software which is freely available to anyone in a form that can be easily modified.